Welcome back, travelers, to your Referral Roadmap. This podcast is dedicated to helping you unleash your personal and business revenue potential by cultivating referral relationships. In this 10-part series, we're diving into the dynamic realm of prospecting. We'll be exploring how prospecting in business can be a key driver of success, offering insights and strategies to master this essential skill to build your own referral-based business. Today, we're talking about Networking Ninja, unlocking sales opportunities through strategic connections. And for those travelers who haven't been on the road with us this far, I do want to redefine what prospecting is. So, prospecting are the behaviors or activities with the actions you execute, creating referrals and/or leads, resulting in revenue for you or your company. Also known as making it rain, as Athena likes to say. And then wanted to give a little food for thought before I kick it back over to Athena. But with the rise of digital marketing and social media, some may argue that traditional networking is losing its relevance. However, the truth is human connection remains the cornerstone of successful sales. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. And that's where networking comes into play. So Athena, what story or information do you have for us today?
Well, I'm so excited about this one. So again, you guys, I hope you're taking notes. You know that we love to tell you real life stories so that you can see yourself and apply this. And Jada will give us facts and figures. But so I wanted to take you down memory lane with me for a second. Matt, over 10 years ago, I was just beginning my journey with the home building company, and I had to network in previous situations, but never to the degree and the sense of urgency that I had to network then. And I remember figuring out who my target market was, and then I figured out where they were and what I call like in-person networking. I also did the social media networking, which we have, we've talked about that in this series as well. But the bigger thing is when I went networking, what I found is for me to go networking, Jada, at that time, I had to pay a special needs nanny $15 to $20 an hour when I was not making a lot of money. So this was the beginning of, me not making, being very financially successful. And so I had to pay this person to watch my daughter and leave my daughter and go out the home. And so I had to be specific. There's so many people I see do networking that they're like, free food, or, hey, it's cocktail hour. Yeah, that I wasn't in that boat. And I'm so thankful because what it did is it made me have to figure out a strategy. And so first of all, only go network where you have intentionality. So where is your target market? Right? Where are the people that either serve your target market or where is your target market? I see too often people going to networking events and I'm like, this is not productive for you. Why are you doing, why are you here? So that's the first part, is really making sure that you're only saying yes to the right networking events. 2, I really want to talk about strategy when you get there. So when you get to your networking event, if it's not a luncheon, right? If you get there and it's a luncheon, then you've got to get there, mingle, and then sit down, etc. I get those. And those are helpful too. But I'm talking about those ones where it's just maybe a gathering. You want to get there, and I'm all about being tardy. I'm punctual. But now I'm going to tell you to be tardy. I know. I like punctuality, but now I'm going to tell you to be a little tardy. If you show up to a networking event just a little bit late, 10, 15 minutes before it started, you're going to start to see people gather, right? That's just natural. But you're going to see oftentimes a person that is the connector. It's the person everyone's kind of drawn to. That person is already known to be liked and trusted and must be a giver, or people wouldn't be flocking to them. They already make people comfortable. So if you're new to networking, get there and find those people. That's one thing. I will tell you, long-term, become that person, right? But outside of that strategy, let me give you my 4-point strategy. When you go to a networking event, again, it's got to be the right people and you've got to be in the right mindset. You need to be brave and you need to have courage. And remember that your purpose is to walk in and find one of four things. Could this person become a client? And don't say everybody's a client. Not everybody's a client for every business. Know your target market. Know your ideal client. So could this person be a client? Could this person be a strategic partner? And a strategic partner is somebody that you trust their business acumen to add value to other people. Okay? That's a strategic partner. And then could they be a referral partner? Are they somebody who touches your target market? And then fourth, do you want to bless and release them? And bless and release is not a negative thing. It's just maybe they don't meet your moral code or it just doesn't fit. Now you need to know one of those four things in each of the interaction. Now, that doesn't mean you're not having authentic conversation and getting to know people, but if you're networking, right? If you want to go be social, go do a social event. But if you're networking, let's be strategic. So you want to look at those four things, and then you want to have a follow-up plan. And I know we're going to do a series on follow-up plan, so I won't dive into that. But you need to have a follow-up plan on how to add value to them. We're going to do a whole series on that too, after the interaction. But the piece I want you guys to hear today is when you go in, are you thinking through that strategy? So are you looking for the connector? You're going to become a connector someday. Are you looking for the 4 points? And then the other piece of advice, be interested, not interesting. Be interested, not interesting. I used that strategy so often, and it was fruitful. It allowed me to meet connectors. It opened up doors. It gave me sales. So that's what we're talking about. How do you use networking to prospect? That's networking to prospect, not networking to get your emotional needs met. So tell us now, that's the warm and fuzzy or the get real. So that's what that is. Jada, tell us some facts and figures why networking should even still matter to us.
Absolutely. You just made me giggle there. I was like, I don't know that I would categorize that as warm and fuzzy, but that's perfect. So yes, I'll bring us straight into the facts and figures, and I'll make sure to link the research below as well for anyone that wants to dive deeper or fact check me, whatever you want for that. But more than 95% of professionals say that face-to-face meetings are necessary for business. This is because in-person networking offers more accurate first impressions than online meetings. I would agree to that. What about you, Athena?
Oh, I do. I mean, that's a big, when I saw that stat, I was like, holy cow.
Yeah, absolutely.
I will say this, if I can interrupt you.
Go for it.
When I have interacted with somebody online and then I get with them in face-to-face, man, it accelerates the process. Yeah. Right? But the double doing it really makes a difference. Anyway, I'll be quiet. Keep going.
No, that's great. Thank you. And Forbes published a study showing the importance and benefits of in-person meetings over online meetings. The benefits include helping build stronger relationships, creating better bonds, and others. So I will link that as well so y'all can see all of that. But 77% of people who like to network in person say that they prefer in-person networking because it gives them a chance to read other people's body language and expressions. Important. I think that kind of goes back to what you were saying, Athena, about being interested. You can read someone's body language and their expressions on how interested they are in the conversation, whether they want to continue that conversation or bebop out as soon as they can.
Yep.
And then business executives disclosed that they would lose 28% of their business if they stopped networking. Wow. And the last but not least, in-person meetings and maintaining relationships are hard for businesses, as 49% of them said the lack of time makes it hard or nearly impossible to keep in touch with their business connections. Here's where social media networking comes in handy. So I'll make sure that all of these are linked in the show notes below. So if anyone wants to dive deeper, they can. But I was just going to kick it over to you, Athena, and see where the rubber meets the road. But if you have something else to say about that, go for it.
No, I think really what got me on my seat to talk about was, I think I see a lot of people wanting to do just social media. And although I think that's so critical and you got to nail that. I know we did our last podcast with Danielle. Boy, you guys, that was a mic dropper. I used I even said what did I call it?
I think you said a pot of gold.
Pot of gold. And she said a pot of gold.
Yes.
So listen to that one, because if you take this and that, and then you execute, you're going to 10x. And so I want you guys to hear that. I see so many people, we want to hide behind just social media. And we really can't do that. And depending on the scale of your business, if you're brand new in business, you really can't do that. If you're middle level, you really can't do that. As you get higher, you may not do as much of it, but you'll do it more strategically. Okay. And there comes a point where your business is so big that there's people on your team that do it, but it never truly goes away. Even for e-commerce businesses, there is still a avenue where we're seeing them hire people to reach out to people. So just understand the marriage, I guess, of those two and the importance of it. So a couple of highlights. Networking is one of the best ways to advance, not only in your personal life, but also in your career. Now, what do you mean by, what am I talking about like that? Some of my best relationships have come out of me going to networking events, being strategic, and looking for the right people. By doing so, I have connected not only with professional relationships, but personal relationships. They kind of teeter on the professional and personal. One of my best ones is Aaron and Jolene Curry. And he's running for Senate, and she is business development director at I'm
Flint Co.
Thank you, Flint Co. And she's one of the only female at her level. She does tons of philanthropic. The two of them, he's on the board of a care center which helps abused children. She does educational philanthropic things. These are dynamic people that are well connected, making an impact. I would have not met them had I not networked. And matter of fact, I've just got to tell a little fun story. How I met Aaron Curry, who's running for Senate again in Oklahoma, or it'll be past the time this comes out. But he came in, and a room full of extreme professionals was dapper. He was dressed dapper. And he's a shorter gentleman, and he was so confident. And I was like, I nudged my husband and I said, that guy, I don't know what it is about that guy, but we got to know that guy. And lo and behold, that's the beginning of what is now a decade-long friendship that it has benefited us personally far more, but also professionally. So you don't know who you're going to meet. You got to be open, right? You got to be open. And he was interesting, and I was interested. And so that's been that, one of the best parts too, right? He introduced me to his wife, who's one of my best friends. So you want to know it will advance. You can meet people you just never know, but you got to be able to be willing to go out and be vulnerable, right? What is it? It's not, this is not an Athenaism. You can Google where this came from, because I'm not really sure who to give it credit to, but be brave for 30 seconds at a time, right? That's
yes.
Just go out and muster it up for a second. And then the other highlight is in-person networking is more beneficial than online in terms of establishing the stronger and better connections. That I want you to think about. I like that. I've already kind of gone over that marriage of the two, but you really establish relationship in person. That's when you really start to understand each other. And so making time for that. The other highlight I saw out of the facts and figures is social media platforms are a great way to network and keep in touch with already existing connections. So when I think about that, you go do these in-person ones, and then you connect with them on social media, and it allows you to continue the conversation. So I think social media is good before and after, but it doesn't eliminate, Jada, the need for in-person.
Yeah.
We still have to do that. And then business networking is vital for the success of our business and acquiring new customers. We've already heard from Jada the stats there. You guys, what is your plan to do that? That's my question. That's where the rubber meets the road. What is your plan to go network in person for you, your team, in order to grow that network? And I know if you're listening to this, you're Athena, like, do you not know my bandwidth? I don't have the time. That's why we need to be strategic. It's why we've got to be focused on the right ones. And we need to make sure that we're doing it for intentionality and creating revenue and for prospecting, not for emotional needs. Let's save the emotional needs stuff for the fun stuff in life, right? Let's save that for family time, concerts, whatever your jam is, right? Jeep rallies, whatever your thing is. That is networking too, but that's for emotional need networking. Not to say business, Jada, doesn't come from that, but the intentionality is a little bit different. And then the other end, keep in touch with your network is hard, but worthy of your efforts, I promise you. I know it's hard. It's been hard for me. It continues to be hard for me. Juggling a couple of brands and philanthropic work, I need to get better. And how you do that is you have systems in place. Okay. That's how you do that. We're all fallible. We've all get busy. So it's about having systems in place. So some things I want you to think about as you wrap this in your mind and you go out and create a networking plan. Remember, you need to know your target market. That's going to be super valuable. Remember that you're always adding value. Always adding value. I can't say that enough. Remember to nurture the relationships before and after, especially after if you haven't met them, and be interested, not interesting. Critically important. So I hope that helps you guys. And remember, be brave. And I want to end on this. This is something that's hit my gut. For those of you who are listening and like, Athena, but I'm not interested. I'm not interesting either. And those of you who feel like there's nothing I can add to that conversation, or I'm not, you plug it in, right? I want to say that's wrong. There's somebody there that needs to talk to you. There's somebody that needs words of wisdom, or you're a connector for them. You're valuable, and there's something about you that somebody else needs. And I'm not talking about being used. I'm talking about being valuable. And you are valuable, and you're needed in that space. So be brave enough to go do it, because you're part of the formula for this to be successful. Jada, where do we go from here?
Where do we go? Well, we would love to invite our travelers to join us on the Success Revolution. It is our weekly blog fueled by relationships, referral, and revenue to get your weekly growth strategy straight to your inbox to help you take control of your sales, revenue, and achieve your full potential. The link to subscribe to the weekly blog will be in the show notes below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast. Join us next week as Athena brings real talk and real strategies on niche domination, prospecting strategies for specialized markets with our special guest, Wyatt Poindexter. We can't wait to see you then.
Good one.
See you then.